Hello, welcome to the kitchen. Today I'd like to introduce you to my lovely friend Ellen Redmond of Splendour Cakes and More just outside Dublin. Ellen is a multi-award winning cake artist, and we'll probably talk about that because I'm very envious. Your work is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
But Ellen, you're German and you're going to bake with us some German goodies. So, what brought you to Ireland?
As often is the case, love.
Love.
I met my husband, who is Irish, in Ireland on a touristy trip around the country, and we fell in love, and I finally moved to Ireland then 18 years ago at this stage. So.
And you live in a beautiful part of the country.
We're in County Wicklow, which is the garden county of Ireland, and the east coast, just south of Dublin, and I live there with my husband and my 3 children.
And you do
run my business from home.
Right, yes, a bit like me as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, a bit like same setup. Yeah.
So I found there's quite a difference with German baking compared to UK baking. You might find that in about Ireland as well. I mean, I lived in Germany, as you know, for a number of years, and I found their desserts and puddings less sweet than ours.
There's definitely more less sugar being used, and also when I first found fondant or iced cakes, before I didn't have any idea about the type of cakes, because in Germany we do a lot of tray bakes, we do a lot of kind of gâteaux or torten, where you layer fresh cream with fresh fruit, so it would all need to be chilled.
Right.
Whereas here you have the Madeira cakes with the cream cheese, with the buttercream fillings, that you can keep at an ambient temperature then for decorating to cover with the icing. So that was all new to me. But what we're doing today is traditional German baking.
So what are you going to cook for us today?
We're going to start off with a German traditional Christmas Stollen, which is it's kind of a fruit bread. So it's made with a yeast dough, and we have some fresh yeast here. You can also use the dry active yeast if you want to. You just have to make sure, because you have to make this up with some liquid at the beginning, that you might not need the full amount of the liquids in the recipe then to get your dough to the right consistency. But I explain that later when we come to the kneading part, that you just have to get the right consistency right and add your liquids not all at once, because then you might get it too slumpy.
I know that with the dry yeast there's several types, aren't there? Because this one is for hand baking, which you and I do, but I know that for your bread maker,
there's a different
for example,
so just read what it says on the tin. Like, this is dried active yeast, and it says making you a better baker for traditional hand baking only. And then I think there's another tin for that for the bread maker.
And the yeast always is, there's quite a pungent smell from the yeast, isn't it? I know you and I both like that, but for some people that might be quite a shock when they first sniff
Fresh
it.
yeast is not always easy to come by. In Germany, you go in any supermarket and you can buy the little cubes in the refrigerator shelves. When I first moved to Ireland and looked for fresh yeast, I had to get to a supermarket in-house bakery and asked the pastry chef behind the counter, could you cut me a little piece of the slab? And it freezes very well. So if you happen to find a bakery where you can source the fresh yeast, get a bigger piece and cut it into your cubes, about 20 grams or 40 gram cubes, and wrap them individually in cling film, and then put them in the freezer, and they last easily 3 to 4 months, and you can just take it out, let it come to room temperature, and then use it the same way as you would use the fresh stuff that you just bought.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. And in Ireland, I don't know here about what it's like here in Scotland. I can also get it in Eastern European shops, because the Polish, they bake a lot with fresh yeast as well, so the Eastern European shops would stock it as well, just like they do in Germany.
And we've got quite a few round here, which is really handy when you're looking for something slightly unusual.
Exactly.
Okay then, Ellen.
Okay, so we're going to start
do it.
off. We have the flour here in a big bowl, and what we first do is we make a little well in the middle, and crumble our fresh yeast into that. just in small pieces. And if you're using the dried yeast, you would make it up in a little bowl like this according to the instructions on the packet, and then you have kind of a liquid, either water or warm milk, that you mix with it and then pour it in the center. But we're starting off here with the dry yeast, and this is the milk we're going to need for the whole recipe, but I'm only using a little bit in it now to create a little proof. So I'm mixing the yeast with the milk, and make sure your milk is lukewarm and not too hot, because if you scald your yeast, it dies and it won't rise for you and won't become active. So it has to be lukewarm, that it's just comfortable on your hands.
And this is full fat milk, isn't it?
This is full fat milk, yeah. So we've made a little spongy kind of proof here by incorporating a little bit of the flour outside till it gets kind of thickish. And then we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of that's the sugar we need for the whole recipe, and I'm just going to sprinkle about 2 teaspoons over it, because the sugar actually kicks the yeast into action. And then we're covering it with a clean dish towel, and that has to go into a warm, draft-free spot now to become active. And normally at home I have my oven, and just turn the oven light on in it and put it in to proof. But Sheila has this very fancy proofing drawer.
It's the only gizmo I have in the kitchen.
So we're going to use that
drawer
today, and that's going to go into there now.
Okay.
So we have it on quite a low setting. The temperature should not be hotter than about 40 degrees when it's proofing, otherwise the yeast gets destroyed.
Okay.
So